part of our afternoon's seminar. At dito ho, maganda yung pag-uusapan natin. Maganda rin ating pag-uusapan. Tutukoy ho tayo sa nutritionally enhanced rice. At mga kaibigan, malit na bahagi ho ang Biotech Coalition of the Philippines sa mga produkto nito, and believe me, magical. Yeah. Sana si Gerard and Tony will do justice to the product in the pipeline, because believe me, dear friends, it's really magical. Ang una kong magpresent ay si Gerard. Una magpresent? Sino? Si One Direction o si Ascal? Some of them are asking if the advanced member of the One Direction is here. I'm saying, no, it's just Gerard Barry. And the other one there, he's not Phil Young husband, he is Tony Alfonso. So who would present? One Direction or Ascal? Ascal? So I would like to call on Tony Alfonso. Siya ho ang Chief Science Research Specialist ng Philippine Rice Research Institute. Siya rin ho ang project leader ng Golden Rice Project sa Philippines. Ang dami-dami ho niyang awards. Last year lang, yung 10 Outstanding Young Scientists of the Philippines, naging 10 Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines. Sobrang daming award ito, kaibigan kong ito eh. Nakakaingit na. So, dear friends, si Tony ho para ipakilala sa atin ang The Golden Rice. Tony?
Thank you very much, partner na Abe. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. I'd like to thank the organizers, the different agencies which are spearheading this year's celebration of the National Biotech Week. Do you have the slides ready? So my topic about nutritionally improved rice, Provitamin A. And when we speak of Provitamin A, we talk about beta-carotene. So we are talking here about a kind of rice that has beta-carotene in the grains. But first, let me mention about PhilRice. PhilRice is a government-owned and controlled corporation attached to the Department of Agriculture. And we are mandated to conduct research to increase productivity and increase the livelihood and welfare of the Filipino farmer as well as the Filipino citizens. Okay? Okay, so that's PhilRice. And we have a big role in trying to attain and sustain the country's goal of rice self-sufficiency. Okay. One of the technologies that we develop at PhilRice are the seeds of new and improved varieties of rice. And in developing varieties, these are the major objectives. We want to produce a lot, and we want to produce more, and we do that by increasing yield, and also by developing varieties that can produce, continue to survive and produce grains under adverse conditions, such as when there is salinity or there's salt, high amounts of salt in water, as in and also in the soil, and also under limiting or too much water conditions. And another objective, of course, is to improve the grain quality and eating quality. So all these objectives are meant to make the rice varieties that we develop acceptable not only to consumers, but also to the farmers, the millers, and the traders. So those has been the traditional targets in varietal improvement. The improvement of crops, the improvement of the nutritional aspects of rice came into the picture a little later. So it was only in recent years that we hear this word called biofortification, which is the development of varieties of crops that are able to accumulate meaningful amounts of vitamins and minerals in the grains. The breeders before had some doubts whether this can be achieved, but this has been illustrated. And biofortified crops, the deployment of biofortified crops is now eyed as a sustainable and effective way to help combat malnutrition, since crops can be grown where people live. So once we have a nutritionally improved crop, uh, it can reach even the far-flung areas, and the farmers can plant them over and over again, and by doing that, they have a steady supply of those important nutrients. Field rice has this goal, the second goal, which is reduced incidence of poverty and malnutrition, and it is under this goal that we have the Golden Rice Project. We are developing and promoting nutrient-packed rice for healthier and smarter Filipinos. And the other objectives or the other goals are attained and sustained rice self-sufficiency. And here, goal number 3, achieve competitiveness in agriculture, science, and technology. Okay, so this is National Biotech Week. Yesterday, for those who were here, we talked about, well, our speakers talk about genetic engineering or modern biotechnology. And we learned that genetic engineering is one way of developing crops. When you look at the breeder's toolbox, you see a lot of things. Conventional breeding, mutation breeding, the use of markers, use of physiculture, and on the end, we have genetic engineering. We don't always resort to genetic engineering in developing crops. As mentioned earlier, we talk about the BLB-resistant rice, which it turned out can be done conventionally with the same quality of the product. The gene came from a wild rice. There's some difficulty in doing wide hybridization, but then in the end it became successful, and so there was no need to do genetic engineering. But for other traits, it's nearly impossible, if not very difficult, to develop traits that we would like to produce. One example of which is golden rice. So it's only through genetic engineering that we can develop a product like golden rice. Just to refresh our memory, we can define genetic engineering as a specific gene transfer from the same or related or unrelated species, resulting in gene expression and production of new traits in an organism. So we can pinpoint the exact location of the gene that controls the trait that we want. We can make all those kind of characterizations and evaluations, and then there are ways to transfer the transgene into our crop. And then, of course, we do the evaluation of the product later on. Okay, so now we have golden rice. Sorry about the color. It's not projecting well. It's supposed to be yellow. That's why literally golden rice is yellow, just like squash, our carrots, because it contains beta-carotene. And beta-carotene is a major precursor of vitamin A. So we're looking at golden rice as a potential additional tool to address vitamin A deficiency. Potential because it's not proven yet. That's why we are doing the research. We don't have a final product yet. We are still at R&D phase. That's why we need to continue doing the research to see whether golden rice can be an effective additional tool to address the problem of vitamin A deficiency. Okay, let's talk about a little bit more about this problem, the vitamin A deficiency. The numbers are staggering. Look at the global situation. Approximately 670,000 children die every year because of this problem. And you add to that 350,000 children going blind because of vitamin A deficiency. And here in our region, Southeast Asian region, 90 million children are affected. They have vitamin A deficiency, and this occurrence is the highest in the world. And vitamin A deficiency, mind you, has been, they are thinking that vitamin A deficiency is related to consumption of rice, because rice, our staple food, does not contain beta-carotene or any provitamin A. Okay, let's look at the local scenario. And here in the Philippines, so vitamin A deficiency is found among infants, young children, pregnant women, and lactating mothers. Among children 6 months to 5 years old, 15.2% of them are affected. And that's based on the 2008 report coming from the FNRI. So for simplicity, let's just say there are now 100 million Filipinos. So easily, that's more than 15 million children, Filipino children, affected by vitamin A deficiency. Okay, and among pregnant women, 9.5%, nursing mothers, 6.4%. There's no doubt vitamin A deficiency is a big public health concern in the Philippines. And what are the impacts of vitamin A deficiency? This is the leading cause of blindness among children. In elementary school, we were told by our teachers, vitamin A is good for your eyesight. What we did not tell us is that lack of vitamin A also results in death. In fact, this is even more important. Why is that so? What's the role of vitamin A in our health? Vitamin A is important for a very healthy immune system. Our immune system can be compromised if we lack vitamin A, and that means we become more susceptible to common illnesses, common infections like measles, diarrhea. That's why the children and the mothers are the ones who are adversely affected by vitamin A deficiency. Okay, so vitamin A deficiency, just to emphasize, affects pregnant and nursing women because they have to support another life, and also children, because these are the times when they have to grow fast, they need more nutrition for proper development. Our government has some programs to help address vitamin A deficiency, and here we have 4. Dietary diversification, essentially telling the public, eat different kinds of food. Diversify your diet. You eat vegetables, fruits, animal products, fish, all these things. That's easy to say, but difficult to implement because it requires, money to be able to do that. Another strategy is this one, capsule supplementation. Our barangay health workers, they go to the barangays and give mega doses of vitamin A in capsule form to children and women. And they have to do that every 6 months, otherwise the problem will come back. And not more frequent than 6 months because, vitamin A, I will discuss later, there can be overdose of vitamin A. Okay, food fortification, the addition of vitamin A and other fortificants, important nutrients and minerals, to food products that are ready for consumption, like noodles, some harina, etc. So these are the commercial products that are ready for consumption and fortified with different nutrients. Of course, optimal breastfeeding practices for the nursing mothers. Okay, so, but then despite all those interventions, still 10 to 20% of the population are affected by vitamin A, especially those who are living in hard-to-reach areas. And the sad part is that the most vulnerable children and women are often missed by these interventions. That's why we have the golden rice now. As I said, we are evaluating it as a potential tool to help address vitamin A deficiency. So golden rice is a genetically modified rice that produces high amount of beta-carotene in the grains. That's why it's yellow in color. And how did that happen? It's a GMO, genetically modified, meaning there is a gene from another source that was transferred to it, and one such gene is an enzyme called phytoin synthase. It has nothing to do with Gangnam. Sai, I don't know if somehow Sai got that name from golden rice. Okay, so this phytoin synthase came from maize. Another gene is called phytoin desaturase. It came from a common soil food-grade bacterium. And why do we have to do this? Why did the scientists who invented golden rice have to do this? because the pathway for the production of beta-carotene in the rice grain is not complete. They had to add these two enzymes to complete the pathway so that in the end, beta-carotene is synthesized. Okay? So now we have golden rice, which is unique because it contains beta-carotene, giving it the golden color. Beta-carotene is converted into vitamin A inside our body. If we have enough vitamin A in our body, beta-carotene will just be excreted. So there can be no overdose of beta-carotene. But if we take in vitamin A, there can be overdose because vitamin A is easily and maybe almost completely absorbed by our body and stored in our fat tissues. And one of the common questions that we get is how much golden rice do I have to take so that it can have impact on my health? Well, we have preliminary data. Based on those preliminary studies, about 1 cup a day of cooked golden rice could provide half of an adult's daily requirement. So 1 cup, 1/2 of an adult's daily requirement for vitamin A. And because golden rice is widely planted, consumed in the Philippines, golden rice has the potential to reach many people, including those living in far-flung areas. And once golden rice has shown to be efficacious, we've heard this before, efficacy. If it really works, then golden rice would be used in combination with those 4 other existing approaches to combat vitamin A deficiency. So it will be an additional strategy to solve the problem. Okay, so we now have a project, the Golden Rice Project, wherein leading nutrition and agricultural research organizations are working together to develop and evaluate golden rice. And our work involves, number 1, the development of golden rice varieties that would grow well under Philippine condition, and that's being addressed through plant breeding. The project also aims to help establish the safety of golden rice. Number 3, evaluate whether consumption of golden rice would improve vitamin A status. That's the bioefficacy part. And finally, once golden rice has been shown to be safe and effective, then it will be deployed. It will reach those who are most in need. And these are the organizations that are involved in the project. We have IRI, we have the Helen Keller International, and also PhilRice. HKI has the mandate to improve the lives, to save the lives and the sight of those who are most vulnerable. So they are a very good partner in this undertaking because they have the expertise about vitamin A, about the problem of vitamin A deficiency, and they have the technical knowledge on how to evaluate whether golden rice would be efficacious. Okay, we get financial support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, USAID, and also our mother agency, Department of Agriculture, through the Biotech Program Implementation Unit. We have Dr. Adalia here, the director of the DA Biotech PIU. Okay, so on the breeding part, so it's being done at PhilRice with the help of IRI. We are developing golden rice versions that will grow well under Philippine condition, and we are starting with varieties that are already popular among the farmers. We hope, or we target, that these varieties will have the same level of yield, pest resistance, and grain qualities as before, because these are already accepted by the farmers. So we'll just improve them by adding the golden rice trait, and we will do cooking and sensory tests to make sure that golden rice will meet the requirements and preferences of the consumers. Here I'm showing you a picture just to appreciate the process of breeding. We have here the golden rice donor, a variety called PSBRC82, and these are some of the progenies which now look similar to the local variety. In addition to that aspect of the project, another strategy is to combine golden rice with important traits such as fungal resistance and bacterial blight resistance. So these are the two most important diseases in rice. One is viral, one is bacterial. By combining these three traits together, we have 3-in-1 golden rice. We hope that it will be more acceptable and preferred by the farmers. And safety assessment, I have some notes about safety assessment. The Philippines has a well-placed biosafety regulatory system. So you've heard about it from the talk of Ms. Estacio earlier. And biosafety is important to make sure that later on when we have a product, these products will have no adverse effects on the humans, the animals, as well as the environment. And safety evaluation is being conducted is under the purview of the DOST Biosafety Committee, the DA Bureau of Plant Industry, together with the regional quarantine officers, and we have local institutional biosafety committees which are working under the different agencies. So each of these agencies involved in the project have their own IBC or Institutional Biosafety Committee. I don't remember if this has been mentioned, but in the evaluation of in biosafety evaluation, there are 3 stages. We have the contained level, and DOST-BC is the one responsible for monitoring that. The next one, after contained evaluation, would be the confined field evaluation, still under DOST Biosafety Committee. Confined field, only 1 season and 1 location. But once you finish that, you can move to the next level, which is multi-location field testing, several seasons, several locations. So here I'm showing you in the next slide just for you to appreciate the things that we do in the field during field testing. So these are some pictures taken during confined field evaluation of golden rice. So we have members of the DOST Biosafety Committee, members of the ABPI who are monitoring our activities. Pictures during multi-location field testing. This is very important because we want to see the performance of these materials, of these rice materials across various climatic conditions. Not only in one place, but only in different growing conditions. And also we need to do this field testing to produce materials, to produce the grains and other samples for biosafety, grain quality, and other agronomic evaluation. And I have a note at the bottom. It's very important that we reach out to our stakeholders, the local executives, the LGU officials at different levels, inform them about the field testing that we are doing at their place. Okay, the next part would be bioefficacy. Would it work? Would it be helpful? To do that, or to answer that, a study will be conducted to evaluate whether golden rice is efficacious or whether it will be effective. So there will be consumption, there will be nutrition studies that would involve consumption under controlled community conditions in the Philippines among vitamin A deficient adults, and that would involve consumption of golden rice. As I mentioned, HKI, which has the expertise in doing this kind of work, will be leading this activity together with the University of California, Davis, and some local partners. I'd like to emphasize that this kind of study will only begin after golden rice has been given approval by the national regulators and once biosafety has been confirmed. Okay, the next aspect would be the delivery, making sure that this kind of varieties will reach to the farmers. So if golden rice is found to be safe and efficacious, we will design a delivery program so that golden rice will reach those most in need to the communities where vitamin A status is low, to the farmers, and also to the seed and grain suppliers. And this is, again, very important. One of the common questions that we get, how much would be the cost? And the answer to that, it will be comparable to the cost of ordinary rice variety. That's very important because if it becomes more costly, it will be more difficult, to afford for the people, and then we'll have our purpose defeated. So golden rice will cost no more than ordinary rice, and there are very important reasons why that is so. Number one, the technology has been donated by the inventors for public good. So this is a humanitarian project. Number two, golden rice will be grown just like any ordinary rice. It will not require extra care, extra input. So whatever level of fertilizer, water, etc. that you give for ordinary rice, the same will be given to golden rice. And number three, golden rice is an inbred variety. So a farmer who gets whole golden rice can plant the same variety over and over again. He doesn't have to get a new batch of seeds at the start of each season. Okay? So looking ahead, golden rice will be introduced, would be introduced by PhilRice and other partners as another approach to fighting vitamin A deficiency. If, number one, it is proven to be safe, number two, proven to improve vitamin A status, and number three, accessible and affordable to those who are most in need. And in terms of project timeline, so we are now doing the second season of multi-location field testing. As I mentioned, we need to do this kind of field test to generate data that will be submitted to the Bureau of Plant Industry, and they will evaluate. Part of the evaluation process will be consideration of those data that we generate from the field. So the breeding, essentially that's still part of the breeding and agronomic performance evaluation. So we will submit those safety information to government regulators, which will evaluate in terms of food, feed, and environmental safety. And once we get the approval, the nutrition study, remember, will be conducted. And then if it is shown to be efficacious, or if it works, then a delivery program will be designed, and then finally we will have the product launch. So that's the only time that our farmers can plant golden rice. Okay, so I'd like to summarize by telling you that vitamin A deficiency is a serious public health problem in the Philippines. Our government has some intervention strategies, but still it's a major health concern. Golden rice has a potential to help address vitamin A deficiency used in combination with other interventions. That potential has to be evaluated. That's why we are conducting research. Nutrition and agricultural research organizations and experts are working together to help develop and evaluate golden rice that will thrive well under Philippine condition. And finally, again, very important about what we are doing this week, biotechnology. Biotechnology offers strategies and opportunities for us to meet our needs and solve our most pressing problems. I'd like to end by telling you that if you don't know yet, we are celebrating the National Year of Rice in 2013. This was launched during the anniversary of PhilRice 2 weeks ago. We believe that we can have sapat na bigas, kaya ng Pilipinas. So, if you, going back to the golden rice topic, if you want to know more about what we do, please visit this website, and you can also approach me. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention.